Marco Rubio. You may know Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, called Little Marco, affectionately, I'm sure, by Donald Trump, when Trump was bullying him and beating him down in a primary in his own state, kicking his butt. And ever since then, Rubio initially called Trump a con man, who's in on the con now, Marco, has kissed Trump's ass and defended his every action, refused to impeach him for extorting Ukrainians, for January 6th, and everything else that he has done. Rubio is a pathetic, soulless, suitless creature. He sends out Bible quotes in lieu of actually sort of responding to crises. That's how pathetic he is. Basically, he looks like he probably spends his part-time when he's not in the Senate selling used cars. Okay, well, some have responded to this awful tragedy at Robb Elementary in Uvalde with incredible courage and actually by stepping up and doing things we didn't expect. Jimmy Kimmel had a whole monologue on how Mitch McConnell and Ted Cruz and Greg Abbott are responsible for what happened, and we need to fight them to save our children. Steve Kerr, former basketball player, coach of the Golden State Warriors, had a similar rant, and he finally got up and just walked away from addressing the press. The New York Yankees and Tampa Bay Rays had their Twitter accounts taken over last night during their game. Instead of sending highlights out, sent out gun violence statistics about women killed with guns, minorities killed with guns, the chance of dying if someone has an assault weapon. People understand that this is a tragedy. It's something that plagues only us of all high-income countries. The ones that come in behind us, second and third, have half the gun violence we have, and many have 1/10. Places like Japan and the United Kingdom, maybe 1/20. So Marco Rubio's response when the Miami Heat also stood up and decided to, over the loudspeaker, encourage their fans to call in and demand universal background checks, which is the very least of what we could do, making sure criminals and the dangerously mentally ill and terrorists don't have guns. Marco decided that he would insult them for that, because that's who little Marco is. He tweeted out, "The NBA doesn't like to talk about the billions they make from China, blah, 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 blah." Funny, he didn't address the question at hand. He doesn't even have the empathy or the decency to mention these little children, 19 of them, who will never see this summer, who will never get married, who will never go to prom, who will never go to college, whose lives have been destroyed, and their families whose lives have been destroyed. No, he just wants to go after the NBA and try to thought police them for the fact that they're trying to encourage their people to do the right thing. Of course, when he brought up China, little Marco didn't bring up the 30-something copy trademarks that Ivanka Trump got from China. He didn't bring up the investment that Pompeo, our former Secretary of State and head of the CIA, Mike Pompeo, just forgot to tell us that he had a Chinese government-owned company, mind you. He forgot to mention how the Kushners, the minute Donald Trump got elected, sat down with wealthy Chinese families to talk to them about how they could get visas into the United States if they would just buy them from the Kushner family. And of course, there's Mitch McConnell, who at this point everybody is scared to mention because McConnell claims it's racism because he's married to Elaine Chao, which it has nothing to do with Elaine Chao. Elaine Chao's dad was a roommate with a Communist Party member, a high-ranking member in China's authoritarian, murderous government. Why doesn't he ask his friend Mitch about that, considering Mitch has promoted every interest of China's, including his own leadership institution at the University of Louisville, sending kids to China for 6 weeks, while all of these terrible things China is doing are going on. Why doesn't Marco ask Mitch about that? That's interesting. Somehow he finds that the NBA is worth mentioning. Marco Rubio is literally the example of what's wrong with the senator. He is a spineless bowl of jelly, a coward who won't even defend his own city, Miami, from the oncoming storm. And I'm talking about the long one that's coming his way. He can't stand up to Trump. He can't stand up to anybody else. He can't even give a speech without drowning himself in water. And now we get him attacking the NBA. I just would like to share this passage with you because this is what I think of every time I think of Marco Rubio. If you ever read the book Sinclair Lewis, It Can't Happen Here, worth reading. Here's your quote. Quote, "The senator was vulgar, almost illiterate, a public liar easily detected, and his, quote, ideas almost idiotic. His celebrated piety was that of a traveling salesman for church furniture, and yet his more celebrated humor the sly cynicism of a country store. Certainly there was nothing exhilarating in the actual words of his speeches, nor anything convincing in his philosophy. His political platforms were only wings of a windmill." That's a longer and very eloquent way of saying he was full of shit. That's the fake senator in It Can't Happen Here, the fascist one in Sinclair Lewis's classic. And that also describes Marco Rubio. And while I'm thinking about it, I'll give you one more from Eric Swalwell, one of the younger Democrats like Ruben Gallego and others who should be taking over the messaging of this party going forward, who are not scared to tell it like it is. From Eric Swalwell, the retweet of Marco. What a whiny man baby Florida has for a U.S. Senator. Rubio is threatened by a tribute to 19 slaughtered babies and their teacher. I bet he'd really hate it if you listened to the Miami Heat call to action and turned out to vote. RT if you're voting this fall. Please, folks, Val Demings is running against Marco Rubio. She's a former sheriff. She rose to that position as a black woman, not easy. She is a center-left Democrat who supports terrific policies against this literal, empty joke, fake Bible-quoting, water-choking, pathetic little man. People like him need to go. He needs to be out of the Senate. Just looking at him disgusts me. Hey guys, if you like this, subscribe, smash, as the kids say, the subscribe button. Also get notifications so you'll know when more is coming. Like this video or hate it. Like it preferably. And comment on me. You love me, you hate me. I'm beautiful, I'm ugly, I'm the best thing you've ever seen. I'm the worst nightmare. Seriously, thank you for being here, and please subscribe, and we'll be back.